It's been given many names: broadbill, emperador, gladiator. And while the ocean is full of predators, all trying to brutally eat each other, the swordfish consistently remains at the very top. Their Latin name, Xiphias gladius, comes from the Latin and Greek words for sword, meaning its name is literally sword, sword. And for thousands of years, we assumed that was exactly how it worked. It's got a 3-foot-long, sharp sword attached to its face. So, it would only make sense that it would stab things with that sword. But recently, scientists have discovered that a swordfish that spends time stabbing its prey is actually the swordfish that's most likely to die. If you stab an animal, not only is your blade now stuck, but so is the rest of your face. And yet, somehow, there's evidence of swordfish killing entire tuna, barracuda, giant squids. Even worse, these swords aren't indestructible. They are bone. If a swordfish stabs a massive prey, and that prey twists or dives, the sword can and will snap. And a swordfish without its sword is just a fish. A really bad fish, with no hydrodynamics, balance, or defense. For millions of years, evolution has been sharpening a weapon that, if used the way we thought it was used, would lead to certain death for the user. Which raises a massive question. If the sword isn't a sword, then what is it? Why would you bother attaching something so extravagant, yet completely impractical to your face? And how have these creatures somehow still become apex predators? To find out what's actually happening, we have to look closer at what a swordfish even is.
When most people see a fish with a long, pointy nose, they immediately think marlin or sailfish.
They lump them all together into a group called billfish. And while they do look similar on the surface, scientifically speaking, the swordfish isn't really related to them at all.
Marlins and sailfish belong to the family Istiophoridae.
But the swordfish is the one and only member of the family Xiphiidae. So how do they actually kill their prey? People assume they swim around stabbing their prey. It makes sense, right? You have a giant spike, you stab things with it. But they don't. If you spear a massive fish underwater, you are now physically tethered to a thrashing, panicked animal. Your weapon is stuck, you lose all your speed, and in the open ocean, losing your speed is a death sentence. So they whack it. They swim directly into a school of squid or mackerel at highway speeds. And they violently thrash their head from side to side. They aren't trying to stab the food like a kebab, They are trying to basically shatter it, like a baseball bat. They break spines, stun prey, and leave a trail of quite disabled victims in the water, which they can only then casually turn around and consume. Their sword isn't actually sharp like a knife, but it is still narrow. When they're moving at such high speeds, that much force on a still somewhat narrow edge will slash the fish open.
It's like cutting a fish with something like a metal ruler.
Swing it hard and fast enough, and it will still slice. When a swordfish is born, that is exactly what it has. Baby swordfish are born with regular scales covering their bodies and a mouth completely full of sharp, aggressive teeth. But the second they reach adulthood, they lose all of them. Most animals in nature add weapons and armor as they grow up. But with swordfish, their sword is their teeth. Not that they're chomping with the sword, but that by cutting that fish with that sword is how they're able to cut the fish into smaller pieces.
And then swallow that whole.
Scales create drag, so ditching those allows you to swing that sword faster too. Which means better diced up fish. Kinda cool. Kinda cool. You don't see swinging as a strategy in basically any marine life.
Imagine trying to swing a bat in a pool versus the air. That creates an insane amount of drag.
A swordfish should be snapping its own neck by trying to whip these fish that hard. Fortunately for swordfish, and unfortunately for everything else, most of the power is from their body and tail, not actually their neck. But the biggest reason isn't even really that. Or that their entire body is streamlined. It's really just because they're 1,000 pounds. These are not really some sleek, graceful, elegant, skinny fish. They are beasts. Way bigger than you, and way, way heavier too. Being such a large size and having that much muscle is what allows you to be able to cut other fish. But keep in mind, swordfish aren't really like whales. Just because they got big doesn't mean they're designed to only eat plankton. They're clearly built for speed and aggression. Well, only my favorite animal in the world, giant squid. I know on this channel, I basically only mention sperm whales hunting giant squid. But swordfish actually do too. They're 1,000 pounds and giant squids are around 500. But even then, the fight isn't just one-sided the way it is with sperm whales. Swordfish will usually still have to target a smaller giant squid to be able to effectively hunt and kill it. Giant squids live thousands of meters deep though, so they have quite an advantage in the fight. But fortunately, swordfish have a sword. when the squid reaches out to wrap its massive tentacles around the intruder. The swordfish violently whips its entire torso. They don't try to stab the squid's core. They systematically sever the weapons. Once the arms are gone, the squid is completely helpless. The swordfish just casually circles back, scoops up the severed tentacles, and consumes the rest of the disabled body. With a battle like this, though, swordfish could lose. Sperm whales are 50,000 pounds. Giant squads are 500.
You hear about the sperm whales more often because they can basically ensure they win over 95% of their encounters against giant squids.
Swordfish have to be a bit more opportunistic.
Thank you for watching.